let's talk about the RSI Meteor. This is going to be a little bit of a different one. I want to hear what your take is in the comments, in chat, on this ship, because I'm seeing a lot of, I'll just say conversation surrounding this one. And it seems like a lot of it is rather unhappy. Now we've got this post here that kind of summarizes what I think people have been saying in general. 4 size 3 guns. I didn't know if they were size 3 or size 2 when we were watching it. 4 size 3 guns is freaking wild though. I think the Hurricane has 4 size 3s. I want to say Star Citizen Hurricane. I think it's got 2 size 5s and 4 size 3s on a turret. So the Hurricane has, 4 size 3s and 2 size 4s. So this thing actually has more gun power, more firepower than the Hurricane. But with the Hurricane, you actually have to bring somebody else with you to take advantage of all of those guns. So, yeah, the Meteor's got a lot of firepower to it. 4 size 3s, 2 size 5 bespoke cannons, 2 size 3 missile racks, or 4 size 4 missile racks. And who is this? Frank Unit. Thank you for your post, Frank. Who is the ship for? They asked during this. This was kind of not gonna lie. This is a little funny to look back on. The ship is for me. It's for Jared. John Wick. They didn't really lay out exactly what this ship was for. Claiming they made it for Jared themselves and John Wick, a fictitious movie character. Hey, John Wick has some very specific needs. He needs space for a dog. Is CIG now making ships for themselves? Is CIG no longer making ships for their customers? This is the same question. Are single-seat fighters getting more and more weapons? That's a yes. Can we expect a smaller ship than the Ion Inferno with more firepower? I think all of these are yeses. Crusader Inferno. That's a size 8 gun on it. I don't think they'll put anything with more firepower on it, but I think they'll give us a ship with like dedicated 5s, kind of like the one we have now. But this ship is so freaking big, dude. As an Ion owner, this ship sends a next message than why they stated heavy fighters shouldn't be so OP. Well, one of the weird things, it's not incredibly weird because things do change over time. I'll give them that. All right, there is somewhere here where he asks them what they're working on. Where it is though.
So it's just going to be a little, it's going to be a starter ship as well. So it's going to be, you just got the game, don't want to fight guys because you're a coward or you're lazy, whatever.
Oh no, why did I? Oh no! How did I manage to accidentally play that part on stream? This is this statement has triggered so much more frustration than most of the things I think that have come out of this company. I'm just trying to find the timestamp where they're talking about the things they're working on. It didn't need to be like this. So this was back in March when they were asked kind of what they were working on. Listen to how they describe this ship.
No, without my glasses, I can't see crap.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. I'm working on a fighter.
On a fighter?
Yes.
A heavy strike fighter?
Yes, sir.
Heavy strike fighter?
And it's based
I bet it is.
on the Mantis.
Based on the RSI Mantis?
Yes.
So taking that beautiful, gorgeous,
Amazing.
sleek
Yes.
silhouette of the Mantis and giving it a new life.
Give it a new life.
New life because we can't interdict enough yet. And here's July of this year.
The Meteor is, at its core, a medium fighter you can spend your time on, you can live on it. It's got everything you'd need to live out in space.
So it went from a heavy fighter to a medium fighter. Now, I don't know if they misspoke in Star Citizen Live, but I'm almost kind of feeling like it was supposed to be a heavy fighter. And for some reason, maybe like this even could have been a misspeak. No hate on Dan. Dan does great work. Dan has put a lot of great stuff into the game, but maybe they like gave him the wrong thing to say. Maybe they threw out the wrong term. I don't know. And now they just kind of are sticking with it, but it does sound like a heavy fighter. And the ship itself is really large. So besides like the fact that it has these big freaking guns, They are bespoke guns, they are ballistic guns, and they are cannons. And as I said when we were watching this live for the first time, I suck with cannons. I think they're sick. I think they've got a lot of use, but you got to be good with them to hit with them. So I understand making bespoke cannons on a ship to make it the downside of that ship. And I'm excited to see how this thing fights and how it stacks up because of these things. We don't know how it's going to defend. We don't know how it's going to take incoming fire or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm holding off judgment on that. But I do think it's interesting to see this discrepancy out of the description of the ship, because that's also the main problem that people seem to have with the ship, is the way that it is described based on what it is it's bringing into the game, and also the fact that it's just kind of stomping on other things in terms of its weapon size and ship size. It's freaking huge. Let's look at the Ares Ion is 30 meters wide, 27 meters long. These ships are all just really big. The Meteor is, oh, we don't have the specs for it yet. Do we not even have the specs for it? Guessing it's the same size as the Mantis. Shooting the cannon should slow you down. So the Mantis is 30 by 17, so it is smaller than the Ares. This is 30 by 27, 27 in length, 30 in width. That's not that crazy, actually. Let's look at the F8C. 26 in length, 25 in width. It's got a few meters, making it longer. It's not as gigantic as I was feeling compared to these other ships. Still plenty big. Still weird. I think calling it a fighter is a little weird. It feels like when I got the Guardian, I thought of the Guardian as a daily driver for somebody who wants to do combat in ships and in FPS, and also just like store some stuff. That's what I thought the Guardian was. It felt like it was really well suited for that. The Meteor feels better suited for that. If they had released the Meteor without releasing the Guardian, I would have been like, this is just a traveling mercenary ship, basically. Something that can easily defend itself, but is also focused on getting people to places and allowing them to live. So I'm really hopeful that they can balance it correctly and figure out where it is actually supposed to fit in the game. But the initial reaction is pretty rough. It is rough. Niku responded to this thread, and he said, yes, the Meteor hits hard, but its defenses will offset that raw power. You'll learn more about the RSI Meteor in an upcoming Q&A. Its bespoke size 5 cannons pack a serious punch, but they come at cost. You're locked into ballistics, which means limited ammo and slower fire rates that punish missed shots, especially against smaller, more nimble targets. It's not the most forgiving loadout, and it's not meant to be your death to everything ship. The missing shots against smaller targets is an interesting point. This was a huge topic we talked about in the podcast this week. I had Avenger 1 on. Haven't talked to him in quite a while on the podcast. Wanted to get him on to talk about the flight model, master modes, where things are headed in that regard. He's got divisive views. I know that. I recognize that. But he generally gives me a lot to work with when it comes to discussing this flight model. And one of the things he mentioned was how important it has become to just be able to aim in this game now. Just to hit the nimble targets. That's the most crucial thing in the game, is not necessarily momentum and positioning, but aim. And that's something that they're doubling down on here with the Meteor. He continued, since the weapons are bespoke, you also lose the flexibility to swap in alternatives. It's specialized chip with big highs and clear limitations, built to reward precision and thoughtful target selection. So not only do you need to keep in mind that, yes, this could be your long-range mercenary ship, you're going to have to carry ammo on board with you, which is not really something that we're considering yet, but could make a huge difference between using something like this and a Super Hornet that's all energy weapon loadout. You don't have to carry any ammo with you. This one could require you to use some of that cargo space. Ronan replied to this response, mentioning power creep was getting stupid with 4 size 4s or 2 size 5s on heavy fighters and 4 size 3s plus 2 size 4s on mediums. Your stated justifications change nothing. This is a bad ship with a flawed design philosophy, and it should not exist. Again, I do wonder if this was considered a heavy ship, and not even a heavy fighter, just a heavy ship, would the problems be as pronounced? This devolves into people talking crap to each other, of course. It is Spectrum after all. You can kind of get the gist of at least the responses going on here. People are confused. I think that CIG is doing themselves a little bit of a disservice here, that they are advertising the ship and releasing the visuals and like kind of some details of the ship here on this episode of Star Citizen, Inside Star Citizen, but then they're not giving the stats. They're not telling people what the specifics are. Nobody knows how many shields it has or how fast it can go. And it's like, they might just be trying to draw it out a little bit to make it more of a 2-week event, this ship coming out. I do think that they could have just dropped the Q&A the day after they dropped this behind the ships thing. And if we wait a little bit until the Q&A and get some good questions in, maybe we'll be a little bit more clear about where this fits in. They've never had a strong definition of light versus medium versus heavy. Matt, I don't want to hear it. If they tell me that a ship is heavy, I should not be able to lift it myself. Okay? That's a light ship if I can lift it. At least if it's not squats. It also comes back to how this is balanced when it comes to engineering, power systems, ammo count, all that kind of stuff. And that then brings into the conversation, what is tedium? How much are you guys doing just to make something feel like it has cons and not just all pros? Like, you guys made a great ship. Are you now forcing some cons in there to make it balanced out? Is it actually going to be fun to use if the power is constantly running out? I don't know. We'll come back to this when it's actually in game. But as of right now, the response to it has been mixed for the first few days, which honestly, we're the Star Citizen community. That makes sense. We'll see how it actually flies and where it fits in over the next few weeks. Hopefully they can balance / nerf it into a place where it fits into the game.